Hi everybody, welcome to the makeup chair. So today I'm going to talk about how to cover up a blemish. So I only have a very small blemish on my chin, which is so typical because I have basically wanted to break out so I can show you how to cover it. I've even not really been sticking to my routine just so I can show you guys how to cover blemishes. I'm hoping for a breakout so I can show you how to cover it, but for some reason, my skin is like, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're going to stay really clear to annoy you. And when I want it to be clear, it breaks out. So you can't win with skin. But today I'm going to show you how to cover up a small blemish. And this technique works even if you've got like a giant blemish on your face or you've got a really small one. It's a full coverage routine for anyone who really struggles covering up blemishes and just doesn't know where to start. So let's jump into it. Covering up blemishes and covering up under eye circles are actually very similar. If you've seen my video on how to cover up under eye circles, and you can check the link up here if you haven't, we talked about how you only want to apply the concealer or the corrector to the area of discoloration, and the same goes for blemishes. That's why it's a good idea to choose something like this. This tiny little brush is actually used for the eyes, but it's the perfect round, small, tiny shape for working on blemishes. It's also a good idea to choose the right colour of concealer. I tend to go for something pretty close to my natural skin colour, but a little bit more on the yellow side because yellow counteracts red and your blemish is probably going to be a red colour. You also want to choose something matte because if you have something that's kind of oily and kind of greasy, it will actually make that area look a little bit more highlighted almost and catch the light. So we want to go for matte things. Now if you don't have a concealer that's matte, it's okay because we're just going to apply some powder over the top anyway. The biggest mistake that people make is that they tend to use the concealer that you use underneath the eyes to brighten up underneath the eyes on their blemishes. If we choose something that's light, we draw attention to that area. So if you choose a concealer for a blemish that's too light, you're just going to draw more attention to it. So it's going to look more obvious on the skin. So I've started by applying some moisturizer on my skin, and then you can apply your foundation if you want to. You don't have to. This technique actually works even if you're not wearing any other type of makeup because we're only applying the concealer to that area. So even if you want to go very bare skinned and just cover up the blemish, this technique will work for you, or you can apply your foundation first. Then you're going to get your little pencil brush, or you can just use a very fine tiny brush like an eyeliner brush or even a Q-tip if you have nothing else. You're going to load that up with a little bit of concealer, apply it to just the center, just the heart of that blemish. And you don't want to have too much concealer on your brush because we're not applying concealer all over this whole area. We're just applying to the center of it, to the right, the heart of that blemish, and then just slightly buff it and blend it out. And that's the reason why we don't want to have too much concealer on our brush. Now allow that to settle on the skin. Don't jump too far ahead and apply too much powder on top because you need that to sink into the skin. If it's still not completely covered, you can reapply a little bit of that concealer over the top. Just very lightly go over the top of it. Leave that settle, put a little bit of powder on the tip of it, put it onto the center of the blemish, and then just kind of dust lightly over the top of it, and this will just set that whole area for you. So that is how you cover up blemishes. Now if you want to see a full routine of when I had my acne problem, you can check the link up here, and I think I have like a few videos on that, but probably that one is the best one to check out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.